Most people walk through life thinking their emotions are something that just happens to them. Like they're passengers in a car driven by fear, anger, stress, and doubt. But that's a lie. It's a story. And if you buy into that story, you give away your power. You hand over the keys to your life to a voice that was never meant to be in charge. Let me tell you something loud and clear. Your emotions are not random. They are not in control. O-U-R-E. You don't need to wait until life is perfect to feel peace. You don't wait for the outside world to line on feel up before you'll happiness or confidence or courage. That's the biggest myth. That emotions come after circumstances. No, emotions come from the meaning you attach to those circumstances. And meaning is something you create. It's not something you find. So if you want to change your emotional state, you start by changing the story you're telling yourself in this moment. You can feel powerful right now. Not after you've made the money, after the relationship works out, not after everything calms down, right? Now, because power isn't a result. It's a decision. You decide how you show up. You decide how to feel. It doesn't mean pretending the pain doesn't exist. It means you get to decide how long you stay in it. You're the one in the driver's seat. Let's get real. You've had moments in your life where you were angry and then something snapped and you started laughing. What happened? The situation didn't change. Your state did. Your focus shifted. Maybe your body moved. Maybe someone cracked a joke. Whatever it was, something interrupted the pattern and gave you access to a new emotion. That's how fast you can change your life in a single moment of decision. Now, imagine if you didn't wait for life to force that shift. Imagine if you trained your mind every single day to take control of that process. To say, I don't care what happened this morning. I decide how I feel. I don't care what the world throws at me. I decide how I show up. That's mastery. That's mental conditioning. Because let's face it, you're not going to wake up one day accidentally mentally strong. You've got to build it. Just like you train your muscles, you've got to train your emotional fitness. You've got to condition your nervous system to stay calm in chaos, to feel gratitude and challenge, to find purpose in pressure. Because the quality of your life is the quality of your emotional state, moment to moment. And here's the true thing, if you don't train your mind, the world will do it for you. And the world isn't trying to make you stronger. It's trying to make you scared. It's trying to make you reactive. That's why you've got to armor up every single day. You've got to prime your emotions. You've got to decide, today I feel bold. Today I feel grounded to feel unstoppable. Not because everything is perfect, but because you've chosen your state. And the beautiful thing is, once you realize emotions are a choice, not an accident, you no longer wait to feel better. You start living better. You stop waiting for the storm to pass and start dancing in the rain. Because you've realized AMTHE storm. I'm not here at the mercy of emotion. I'm here to master it. So the next time negativity creeps in, the next time stress knocks at the door, don't wait to feel like it. Stand up. Move. Focus. Take control. And remind yourself with certainty, I am my emotion. I am the master of it. And I choose power every single time. You want to change your life. Change what you focus on. It's that simple. And it's that hard. Most people live in reaction. They're addicted to the habit of focusing on what's wrong, what's missing, what hurts, what didn't go their way. And then they wonder why they feel stuck. They wonder why they're drained, overwhelmed, anxious. But let me break it to you, your life is not defined by your conditions. It's defined by what you focus on. Because focus is power. Focus is fuel. Wherever your focus, your energy flows and your entire experience follows. If you spend your day focusing on what you can't control, on what other people think, on the mistakes you've made, that's where your power goes. Gone wasted. But when you focus on what you can control, when you direct your attention to your goals, your strengths, your growth, suddenly energy flows into momentum. Suddenly you feel alive again. It's not that successful people don't have problems. It's that they've trained themselves to focus on solutions. It's not that confident people never feel fear. It's that they focus on what they want, not what they're afraid of. You've got to learn to take your attention off the noise and put it on the outcome. Take your focus off the problem and plant it firmly on the possibility. That's where change begins. And you've done this before. Think about it. There's been a moment in your life when you felt unstoppable. not because the world was perfect, but because you locked your focus on a mission. Maybe you were training for something. Maybe you were in love. Maybe you were building something that mattered. And in that moment, your mind wasn't wandering. You wasn't complaining. Your mind was locked in. And you had energy, certainty, clarity. That's the power of focused attention. But here's the thing. Focus is not passive. It's not automatic. The world is full of distractions. You're being pulled in every direction, social media, headlines, other people's opinions, your own limiting beliefs. If you don't train your mind to focus, it will chase every shiny object, every doubt, every fear. That's why you've got to choose where your focus goes. And you've got to do it with absolute intensity. Do you want to feel more confident? Focus on your wins, not your wounds. Want to feel grateful? Focus on what you have, not what you lack. Want to feel strong? Focus on what you've overcome, not what you still have to face. Because whatever you consistently look for, you'll find. The mind is a heat-seeking missile. If you focus on failure, you'll feel like a failure. If you focus on progress, you'll feel like you're winning. It's not magic. It's psychology. So what are you practicing every day? Are you rehearsing fear or rehearsing faith? Are you focusing on the past or what's possible? Your brain doesn't know the difference between what's real and what's vividly imagined. So when you focus on pain, you relive it. But when you focus on purpose, you reignite it. And don't wait for perfect circumstance to get your focus in check. You need it most when everything around you is shaking. That's when you dig deep. That's when you say, I don't care what's happening out there. I control what's happening in here. And you zero in on what matters. You focus on your vision. You focus on your purpose. You focus on the action right in front of you, because that's where your life is shaped, not in the future, not in the past, right now. And when you do that, when you take control of your focus, you don't just feel better. You become better. You rise above the noise. You become the kind of person who doesn't wait for motivation, who doesn't wait for clarity, because you create it through focus, through intention, through the decision to place your energy where it will grow, not where it will die. Because remember, whatever you water grows, and whatever you focus on, you feed. So if you want to build a life of power, of peace, of purpose, stop giving your energy to distractions, to drama, to doubt. Take all of that energy and point it like a laser at what you want to build, because where your focus goes, your life follows. Choose wisely. You're not broken. You're not weak. You don't need fixing. What you need is a new pattern, because the thoughts you think, the emotions you feel, the reactions that keep showing up in your life, they're not random. They're not your identity. They're habits, mental and emotional habits, conditioned loops that have been running for years. And the truth is, if you can learn a pattern, you can unlearn it. If you can wire it in, you can rewire it. Most people live their entire lives running the same old program over and over again. Something triggers them. They get anxious. They shut down. They lash out. They doubt themselves. And they say, that's just how I am. No, that's just how you've trained yourself to be. You ran the same pattern so many times it became automatic. But automatic doesn't mean permanent. You can interrupt the script. You can write a new one. The first step, you've got to catch it in the act. You can't change what you won't face. You've got to become aware, brutally honest about the emotional loops you keep falling into. That moment when you shrink back. That thought tells you you're not enough. That tension in your chest when things don't go your way. That is the pattern. That is the doorway. And instead of judging it, blaming it, or denying it, you step into it with awareness. You say, there it is. And this time I'm not running it. Then comes the interruption. You've got to shock the system. You've got to break the rhythm. Interrupt the emotion. That could mean changing your body, yelling out, moving, clapping your hands, doing something radical in the moment to shift your physiology. It could mean asking a powerful question. Is this the truth or just an old story? The point is, you must disrupt the emotional pattern long enough to get your power back. Because in that moment, you are either at the mercy of your mind or you're taking command of it. But here's where most people stop. They interrupt the pattern, maybe once or twice, but they don't replace it. And if you don't replace it, your brain will go right back to what it knows. So you have to install a new pattern, something that serves you, something that empowers you, something that reinforces who you really are, That could be a new belief. I can handle anything. It could be a new question. What's great about this that I haven't seen yet? It could be a new action. I breathe. I stand tall. I move forward anyway. The new pattern must be just as emotionally strong as the old one, or stronger, because it has to compete for space in your nervous system. And finally, the part almost everyone misses. You condition it. Not once, not twice, but daily. You train it in just like you train the old one in. Through repetition, through intensity, through total commitment. You were it in with movement, with emotion, with belief, until that new pattern becomes the one your brain runs without hesitation, until courage becomes automatic. Gratitude becomes your baseline. Calm becomes your default. Let me tell you something. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. And your emotional patterns are your systems. So if you keep reacting the same way, think the same thoughts, feeling the same fear, it's not because you're incapable. It's because you're running an outdated program. And that program can be rewritten. But you've got to take ownership of it. Yeah. You've got to decide. I'm done living by default. I'm ready to live by design. That's what mental training, that's just motivation. Not just positivity. It's rewiring the mind at the root. It's digging deep into the subconscious and planting new seeds. It's making the new pattern so strong, compelling, so emotionally anchored that the old one just can't survive anymore. And when that shift happens, you're no longer the same person. You don't just think differently, you feel differently. You move differently. You are different because the pattern is different. So ask yourself, what's the pattern I'm done running? What's the emotion I'm no longer a prisoner to? And what's the new pattern I'm committed to installing starting now, not tomorrow, not when it's easy, now. Because change isn't a someday thing, it's a decision. And the moment you decide fully, completely, with no turning back, that's the moment you start living from power. That's the moment you take back your mind. And when you own your mind, you own your life. Every single one of us carries pain. It's part of the human experience. Life throws curveballs, betrayals, whale loss, rejection, failure, and that pain leaves a mark. But here's the truth. Most people never get told pain is not the enemy. Pain is feedback. Pain is fuel. Pain, when faced with courage, becomes the very thing that forges your strength, your character, your purpose. But only if you choose it. Most people run from pain. They numb it, avoid it, deny it. They tell themselves, I don't want to feel this. And so they bury it. But what you bury, you don't raise. You carry. You carry it into your relationships, your decisions, your self-worth. It becomes invisible weight, holding you back in ways you don't even realize. You think you're stuck. You think you're broken. But really, you've just never learned how to transform your pain into something useful. See, pain doesn't destroy you. Unprocessed pain does. The pain you hide controls you, but the pain you face, the pain you own and squeeze meaning from, that pain becomes power. It becomes your teacher. It becomes the fire that burns away the excuses, the hesitation, the weakness. It shows you who you really are. It reveals what you're capable of. You don't need a perfect life to be powerful. You need the willingness to saying, I didn't ask for this pain, but I'm not wasting it. That mindset changes everything because now you're not the victim. You're the alchemist. You're taking something heavy and turning it into strength. You're taking the story of what happened to you and you're rewriting it into a story about what you became because of it. Think back. Some of your greatest breakthroughs came from breakdowns. Some of your most powerful realizations came from the darkest nights. That wasn't by accident. The pressure, the pain, the adversity. They pushed you into a corner where you had no choice but to grow, to evolve, to dig deeper. And you did. You didn't think you could get through it. But you're here. And that means there's more than you've ever given yourself credit for. But don't wait for life to knock you down to access that part of yourself. Make a decision now that every pain, every step, every scar is going to serve you. That nothing is wasted. That no wound defines you. Unless you let it. You may not have chosen the pain, but you get to choose the meaning. You get to choose what you do with it. You get to choose to say, because of that, I became stronger. Because of that, I became more compassionate. Because of that, I found my mission. I found my voice. That's what the most powerful people on this planet have done. Not avoid pain, but use it. Every great leader, every great athlete, Every world changer has taken pain and forged greatness through it, not because they were lucky, not because they were special, but because they made a choice to face it, to feel it, and then to rise because of it. And that's a choice available to you right now. Maybe you're carrying something that still hurts. Maybe there's a chapter of your life you haven't healed from yet. I'm not here to tell you it didn't matter. I'm here to tell you it does. And that it can mean something more. If you're willing to stop avoiding it, if you're willing to sit in the fire and ask yourself, what can I learn? How can this make me better? What strength is being called out of me right now? That's the moment your life starts to shift. When you stop asking, why did this happen to me? And start asking, what will I do with this now? You want to become unshakable. You want to live with purpose and power. Then don't just survive the pain. Transform it. Let it sharpen you. Let it drive you. Let it open your heart instead of closing it. Because pain is inevitable. But suffering, that's a choice. And so is power. So take the pain you've lived, the pain you're still carrying, and declare, this ends with me. This becomes my fuel. This becomes my message. I don't carry this to feel sorry for myself. I carry it because it forged me into someone who can handle anything. That's not just surviving. That's mastery. That's freedom. You want to change your thoughts. You want to break through negative emotions. Stop trying to do it just by sitting still and thinking your way out of it. Because your mind is directly wired to your body. Emotion lives in motion. And the fastest way to shift your mental state, the fastest way to cut through fear, stress, anxiety, doubt, is to move. When your mind is stuck in a loop, your body is usually stuck too. Sludged, stiff, frozen in a pattern that reflects exactly what you're feeling: small, uncertain, overwhelmed. But here's the truth. If you move the same, you'll feel the same. If you want to feel different, you have to break the pattern physically. You've got to move differently, breathe differently, stand differently. Because the moment you shift your body, you send a new signal to your brain. You tell your nervous system, we're not doing fear anymore. We're doing power. We're doing strength. We're doing life. Think about it. You've had moments where you were low, completely in your head, spiraling. And then you went for a walk. You hit the gym. You danced like nobody was watching. You screamed into the air and something shifted. You didn't solve all your problems, but you felt alive again. You felt present. That wasn't an accident. That was physiology overriding psychology. That was your body waking up the warrior inside your mind. This isn't about fitness. It's about freedom. You can change your state in seconds if you stop trying to think your way out of a hole and instead move your way out of it. Stand tall, breathe deep, take up space. Own the room, jump, shake, sprint, clap, whatever it takes to interrupt the signal your brain's been stuck in and inject some intensity back into your system. Because motion creates emotion, and a powerful body creates a powerful mind. Let me tell you something. You can't sit around feeling depressed and physically move like a champion at the same time. Your brain won't allow the contradiction. If you move like someone who's confident, breathe like someone who's peaceful, walk like someone who owns their life, your mind must catch up. Your emotions start to match your motion. That's the power you have right now. Without needing a therapist, a guru, or a perfect plan, just your breath, just your body. That's your access point. And it's not once. It's not when you feel like it. This has to become a ritual, a daily conditioning of your nervous system, because life will throw things at you: stress, rejection, unexpected chaos. If you haven't trained your body to respond with strength, you'll collapse. But if every single day you move your body like a leader, like a fighter, like someone who refuses to be defeated, you build that emotional muscle. You don't wait to feel motivated. You prime it. You train for it. That's why athletes, performers, soldiers, leaders, they don't just train skill. They train state. They train their bodies to override fear. They use motion to create certainty. Because when your body is aligned with power, your mind follows every time. So the next time you feel stuck, ask yourself, how am I breathing? How am I standing? How am I moving? And then change it right there. Don't wait. Don't think. Don't overanalyze. Just move. Even if it's just 10 push-ups, a burst of jumping jacks, a primal yell, a cold shower, a sprint around the block, anything to signal to your brain, we're in charge here. We're not spiraling. We're shifting. We're rising. Because transformation doesn't happen from the neck up. It happens from the ground up. when you engage your whole being. And the truth is, you've always had the tools. You've always had the power. It's just that no one taught you how to use them until now. So make a commitment to move with purpose, to breathe with presence, to stand like a leader, to use your body as a weapon against weakness, against fear, against anything trying to hold you down. Because when you move your body, you shift your mind. And when your mind shifts, everything else follows. That's the doorway to the state you've been trying to reach. Not someday. Not when it's perfect. Now, in this body, in this moment, with this breath, let's go. There comes a moment, and maybe this is yours, when you stop negotiating with your potential. When you stop asking for permission. When you stop making excuses for why you haven't become the person you know you're meant to be. Because let's be honest, every excuse you've ever made has cost you something. Time, energy, growth, joy, and most of all, purpose. Excuses are easy, they're familiar. They give you something to lean on so you don't have to face the discomfort of change. I don't have time. It's too late. I'm too tired. What if I fail? You've heard them. You've said them. But if you're being real, if you drop the mask and look inside, you know the truth, those aren't reasons, they're stories. And those stories are stealing your life from you. Purpose is what you were born with. It's in you, not given by the world, not handed to you by someone else, but forged through decision. Purpose is the fire that cuts through fear, laziness, and limitation. When you're aligned with it, excuses don't stand a chance. Because purpose is bigger than your mood, bigger than your doubt, bigger than your temporary discomfort. When you live with purpose, you don't need perfect conditions. You create the conditions. Most people spend their lives reacting, letting the world dictate their energy, their schedule, their standards. But when you live with purpose, you shift from reaction to intention. You wake up with clarity. You know what matters. You know what you're here for. And you stop tolerating anything less than the best of yourself. It doesn't mean you're never tired. It doesn't mean you don't fall. It means you rise anyway, because your life is too important to waste on excuses. Let me be direct. Nobody is coming to save you. No one's going to hand you the life you want. No one's going to walk up and say, here's your confidence. Here's your discipline. Here's your dream. That's on you. And deep down, you want it to be on you. Because that means you're in control. That means you don't have to wait another year, another month, another day. You can decide now to trade your excuses for action. Trade your comfort for calling. Trade your distractions for direction. The difference between people who live on fire and those who live in fear. It's not talent. It's not background. It's choice. A decision to live with purpose. To show up even when it's hard. To give your best even when no one's watching. To keep going even when no one's clapping. Because purpose doesn't need applause. Purpose pulls you. It compels you. It demands the highest version of you. The one that doesn't settle. The one that doesn't shrink. The one that builds instead of blames. And here's the real kicker. When you live with purpose, you become unshakable. Not because life gets easier, but because you get stronger. You stop getting thrown off course by every little challenge or opinion. You stop caring about what people think and start caring about what you know you're here to do. You don't need motivation when you have purpose. You become the motivation. You become the example. You become the standard. You want to feel fully alive, strip away the excuses. Burn them, starve them, replace them with clarity, with vision, with mission. Every time you say, I can't, you weaken your power. Every time you say, I must, you activate it. So decide, not someday, but now, who you're going to be. Not based on your past, not based on your fears, based on the truth inside you that you were made for more. And the only thing in your way is a story you're finally ready to stop telling. Purpose doesn't come from thinking about it. It comes from living it, from moving toward it, from deciding that your life has meaning and you're going to live like it, with urgency, with discipline, with heart. No more waiting, no more blaming, no more excuses. Your life is not a rehearsal. You get one shot, one chance to make it count, and that begins the moment you say, I'm done living small, I'm done playing safe. I'm here for a reason. And I will not leave this world wondering what I could have done if I had just gone all in. This is your time.